5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello and happy Tuesday to you. Welcome to What's the Buzz? I am Beamy, and I want to thank you for joining us here on this rainy Tuesday afternoon. The storms did, I don't know if you'd call them storms, but the downpours did roll in early this morning, and it has been kind of off and on in my area. I know to the east it's supposed to be a lot more rainy here in Austin, Texas, but thank you for listening from wherever you are today and this afternoon. Yesterday's show was two stories and a break from the format we've been doing. Today is a return to some normalcy of our normal format. Of course, we do a main theme every show, and then we pick our high five topics, and we try to follow that theme. And today's theme is all about music. So our high five topics are always a local news story of the day, a world news story, an entertainment story. So that's a little. I mentioned we may have some updates to our format as we evolve. The only minor update so far is that instead of a strictly sports story, we're gonna file that into, sports is entertainment ultimately, professionally, and so there may be sports in that third topic of the day, or there may be something more from the entertainment industry outside of sports. But either way, that is always our topic number 4, and then number 3, and then of course our jam of the day is our topic number 4. And then we always end with a closing message. So today's show is all about music. To kind of bring in the show a bit, of course, I'm joined here by Amber and Nova. And if you want to keep up with us, you can follow me on Instagram at beami.music. You can find my YouTube at beami.music. And you can find my website my website is beami.earth, beami.earth. And so just a little intro. I suppose, not supposedly, I don't know why I said that, but to I'm wanted to say to rightfully bring in or to share my background in how I became into music myself. I was always raised around it. My dad, I grew up with him telling me that everything was a percussion instrument, and so, using our fingers to bang on tables and banging chopsticks on bowls and all that kind of stuff was what he was doing all the time, and so I would always join him in that. And he taught me basically from the start that music can be made all the time anywhere. So my dad, he went by Loping Buzzard, and he has music out there to this day. If you look up Loping Buzzard, his album, he got to release one album that he worked on really up until the end of his life, and it's called A Buzzard Has Landed. And so he considered himself a noisician, is what he called himself. And he played didgeridoo, the Aborigine Australian wind instrument. And he collected like a bunch of various different world instruments, like the danmo, the gapachand from India or Asia, and rain sticks, flutes, berimbau, a bunch of really distinct things, and incorporated them and made sounds out of them into his music. We also had a theremin as well. And so one of his didgeridoos was what he called the twins, and it was one bass with 2 stalks, so 2 mouthpieces. And so I remember growing up and helping him on the one side of the twins, and we even went to, I think, his mom's high school reunion in Andice, Texas, and played it there for the crowd. I think we even did a show somewhere. There's a picture of us playing it on stage. I don't even know what that was for. I was pretty young, but yeah. So that, he always encouraged that, just like as a way of life. Kind of, I didn't even think of it as a being a musician at that point. Um, but then, so my eighth grade year, uh, I started telling part of this, and I think in the last episode, but my eighth grade year, towards the end, we get an assignment, and we have to do an assignment over a disease, and so I chose bipolar disorder. Excuse me, because I knew a lot about it already, so I didn't have to like research that much. Mm, excuse me, and so I knew that um, I knew that it would be like a easy thing to kind of do. So the assignment was that we had to either do like an artistic poster, that had all the info, um, or we could write a song, and I believe it was write a song, and I have never been confident, or had never been confident in visual art and my handwriting and all of that. So I was like, sweet, I'm gonna do a song. But then I was like, but I don't play an instrument and I don't sing. So I'm going to write a rap song. And so I wrote a rap song about bipolar disorder, kind of thought it was a joke. And I don't know, I didn't take it super seriously. And when I had to present it to the class, um, my good friend in eighth grade, Doug, who was there in class, excuse me, he he was like, dude, I'll beatbox for you. I was like, sweet. So he comes up, he beatboxes for me, and I do the lyrics. And as I'm going back to my seat, all these kids are like, damn, white boy can rap, and like, oh, I didn't know you had flow like that. And like, I was like, what? Like, I don't know, I just did the assignment. And so that sort of inspired me to then not write a song for an assignment and write a song because I wanted to write a dang song. And so the first song I ever wrote was like the next day in class, and in my journal, and it was called "Do You Remember?" And it was basically like a letter to my mom, asking her if she remembered the trauma and abuse she put me through, kind of thing. And it immediately became therapy for me. And then in high school, I kind of kept that going, and my dad helped me with the equipment that he had. He helped me record my first two songs, and submit them to the school magazine and stuff, which I got to be on. And then ultimately went on to record my own stuff and to be in every show that the school put on and all that. And so that was kind of my intro into making my own music, and how I got into rap, even though I didn't even necessarily enjoy rap at the time, or fit into that. But it was the words that drew me into it, and the creativity and encouragement of wittiness and creativity in the wordplay. So yeah, that's just my intro into music. But today we'll go ahead and jump into our high five topics. Our local news of the day is kind of big too. This comes from Austin Eater website, austin.eater.com. And excuse me, the local news, the headline of our local news is HBO's The Last of Us pays tribute to closed Austin music venue. So The Last of Us, a lot of people know, is a video game. I've never played it. I've read the story though, and I found it very intriguing, obviously very relevant. And uh, I heard some people talking yesterday about the fact that it's become a TV show on well, I now know it's on HBO. I believe it's on whatever streaming service HBO has as well. But so HBO's Last of Us, um, it's it's one of the apocalyptical. I believe like there's a pandemic. I can't remember if it deals with zombies or vampires or what, but there's something along those lines. And so the show begins in Austin in 2003, and there is a poster featured in the show um, for a Red River club that was pretty popular that closed down in 2013 called Club DeVille. And the poster is for a tacos and beer event. And the club was open from 1997 to 2013 and closed abruptly due to the owner owing over $27,000 in back rent. And it quickly, by 2014, became Cheer Up Charlie's location when they moved there in 2014. But the show The Last of Us also features a couple of ACL posters from 2003 as well. And the show actually filmed in Alberta, Canada, but it begins in Austin. So if you want to see, I think some food trucks and stuff are also in there. Definitely go check out The Last of Us, and I hear it's good. People are liking it, and you know, it's sort of like an escape from reality while also representing reality. So if you like that, there you go. So today's second topic of the day, our world news, is that Steven Spielberg has confirmed a documentary on film music legend John Williams. John Williams has done the soundtrack for a ton of Spielberg's works and a ton of some of the most popular franchises in existence, including Star Wars, Harry Potter, Saving Private Ryan, Jurassic Park, Home Alone, and Indiana Jones. And he had said that the most recent Indiana Jones film was going to be his last and that he was going to retire. But then apparently him and Spielberg have been friends for a long time, and he recently said that Spielberg has a way of when Spielberg asks you, you don't say no or something like that. So he's apparently at least doing one more film. So that'll be really interesting. They've both been at it for a long time. Spielberg announced this at one of the premieres of his latest film, which is a autobiographical film about him and his family. So interesting stuff there from two of the biggest people in film, but film music is our tie in there. So our topic number 3 is our entertainment topic, and it does come from sports and music. The Super Bowl is coming up in February. Of course, Rihanna is the halftime show, and it was announced that Chris Stapleton, the country music, he's huge, is performing the national anthem, along with the R&B star Babyface is going to be singing America the Beautiful before the show, or before the game. So if you're fans of either of them, definitely get excited for that. And our jam of the day, I just don't have much to say honestly. I don't about the Super Bowl, but we'll see what happens, and how it is and how it's received. That's usually the part. I heard someone say this on the radio, and I was like, yeah, that's me. Where you take a breather and get some fresh air outside. If you weren't outside already, which I usually am. Anyways, our jam of the day comes from some old school stuff. I was listening to the radio on, I believe it was Sunday morning, and there was a jazz show featuring, jazz jazz you might not know, and early jazz, and I absolutely loved it. And the main song that I enjoyed that they played was Jubilesta, and it was featuring, members, and I think the Duke himself of Duke Ellington's band. But the version they played, I understand why they played it because it was my favorite. I listened to other versions, but this one was so good. Jubilesta by Cootie Williams, and it'll be linked below along with all the stories that we've covered in today's show. But man, it was such a groove, and I've been listening to it on repeat. So that is our jam of the day, coming to you from a different era for sure, but a great one. Um, yeah, I didn't want to ramble too much in today's show. Obviously, my voice is a little weak today, but it'll be fine. I need to drink some more water and all of that, get some more food in me. But um, I did want to get to our closing message, and we have a two-part closing message today. And the first part is to fans of music, and the second part is to artists and creators of it. And to start with, the thing to fans, I mean, as creators, as artists, we couldn't survive without you, without consumers. And I think every consumer can also be an artist, but I also think artists can be consumers. And you know being able to connect with and relate to and express to an audience, fans, or listeners, is is it's a mutual connection that goes both ways. And fans a lot of times, I don't know, get taken for granted or get overlooked, or maybe um don't even realize the impact that they have themselves, I think. And what you spend your money on and what you give your attention to is so valuable for you as an individual, and also for what that is, what artist or what band or what content that is on the receiving end of that. And it's such a valuable, special, beautiful thing to be able to have that and to be able to exist. So fans, do not underestimate your power, and do not underestimate the appreciation that's out there for you. Seriously, because it wouldn't happen. It couldn't exist without you. Um, and to artists, my message to you is never box yourself in or believe you're not enough. I'm saying this because as an artist, I have had to grow out of that, and there were so many times growing up. There were so many times early on, as in my 20s, where I thought that I was done completing myself, and as a creator, as an artist, and that I wanted to do so much more. I used to think that I could do so much more, but now I've reached this point and I'm good at this one thing, and that's it. And I just have to, keep doing that and hope that that gets me somewhere. And then being next to people who were doing what I always wanted to do in that way, but then have stopped even trying to pursue because there's no way I could do that because that's what they do, and I'm not as good as them, obviously. Uh, that's crazy. You can do anything, and you can be anything, and you can create anything you want, and you don't have to be one thing. And if you want to be, that's cool. You know, enhancing one thing at a time uh, is important, because if we just go from this sound to this sound to this instrument to this, style, blah blah, blah, like we may never get to appreciate and experience the time within what we're presently doing. But all I'm saying is, like, it's a journey and a progression, and basically based on outside feelings that really are a reflection of our inside insecurities. Break free from that and go be the shining star in every single way that you are one, um, all at once, and allow it to unfold and allow it to be told, and let your story, speak for itself. That's my message to you. This has been today's show. This was our 5th episode, our first Tuesday episode. Tomorrow officially marks 1 week of doing the show, and we still hope to have a special guest on the show at some point this week. So look forward to that as well. Yeah, thanks so much for being with us today. And enjoy the coolness and the clouds and the drip drops. And I think it's clearing out for the rest of the day, but uh, we don't always get this, and we haven't in a while. It's been over a month, I think, since the last downpour. So have a beautiful day, everybody, and we'll catch you tomorrow for the Wednesday Hump Day edition of What's the Buzz. On behalf of Amber and Nova, have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Peace, love and light. Good night.
Sometimes that's okay with me. I've shown that I can